I am not. But my question is, could I be? I know this is an inflammatory title, but I'm doing this to make a point. Two things this week brought this to mind. Number one was the defense bill that the Senate, including Democrats, Carl Levin co-sponsored it, that would allow the military to detain indefinitely people that the government thinks are terrorists. Obama says he's going to veto it, but that's because he says it doesn't go far enough, and it kind of ties the hands of Obama. I am really disappointed in him. I mean, I voted for him thinking he'd be better than Bush, and he's just the same, only worse, because the Democrats, you'd expect it from a Republican, but not a Democrat. Number two is I was watching a great movie, Chronicle of the Escape. Chronicle del Fugo, yeah. And it was about four like college-age students, young, 18, like 20s, who were arrested by the Argentinian government without trial and held for 124 days before they escaped, because the government thought they were terrorists. And the government of Argentina was a fascist government that had a coup against Isabel Perón. And they were a military dictatorship, and they went after Marxists or anyone that they thought were Marxist. The same thing happened in Chile. They actually, in Argentina, disappeared 30,000 people, mostly college-age students. And this made me thinking. I mean, a lot of people would say this couldn't happen here, but I believe it could. You hear the ramped up when any liberal policies is socialism. I mean, Marxist. The word Marxist is thrown around. The Soviet Union was Marxist. Cuba is Marxist. Eastern Europe was Marxist. When they say that Occupy Wall Street are Marxist, they delegitimize all those people who died under the under Stalin, under Soviet Union, and Eastern Europe. And they use Marxism and fascism interchangeably. Hitler, oh, Glenn, is a weird breed. He used elements of Marxism, socialism, but he also used elements of free market capitalism. I mean, you could say that on the economy it was very bipolar. He didn't nationalize Mercedes-Benz. He didn't nationalize the car companies and some in other industries. There was universal health care, but that was put in before Hitler got in power. And to equate these people with Nazis, and maybe there might be a couple like Nazis in there, but there are a couple Nazis in the Republican Party. Do I say all the Republicans are Nazis? No. And so this makes me wonder, if they come into power, what would they do to Occupy Wall Street? What would they do to moderate Christians who are speaking out against economic injustice? Would they arrest them? Would they detain them? Because this bill could really use against enemies domestic, anyone who is a threat to a future regime. And the thing is, if this happens, I know I'm going to be on their list. And I don't think I'm paranoid with saying that they would probably arrest me, throw me in jail, and possibly even kill me. Um, and the thing that really makes me mad, the thing that really upsets me, is that these people claim to be Christians. These people with hate in their hearts. These people who spread slander after slander after slander. Newt Gingrich, who mocketh the poor. Michelle Bachmann, who once said that there should be a congressional hearing, a McCarthy-like hearing, to investigate enemies domestic. We are closer to fascism than any time since the 1930s. Now, historically, in fascist governments, fascist coups, I should say, the military was behind it. I mean, the military helped lead the coup. I mean, General Pinochet, General Franco in Spain, and I can't remember offhand the general who was leader of the junta in Argentina. The thing is, I don't see that happening. I don't see a military coup. I see them taking power more like Adolf Hitler took power and Mussolini took power. I mean, they were voted in. I'm not sure about Mussolini. I think I'm right on that. I don't think he took over as a military leader, but correct me if I'm wrong. Because, I mean, he was a military leader, but I don't know if he was elected in or what. I know Hitler was. And a lot of good people, a lot of good Christians said, yeah, this guy is going to fight against immorality. This guy is going to bring Germany back to its exceptionalism. German exceptionalism. That is the nationalism in Nationalist Socialist Party. Nationalism. We hear a lot about American exceptionalism, don't we? We hear a lot of jingoistic flag-waving America. I mean, I love America. I grew up here. But I love her, so I tell her when she does wrong. Not like conservatives who are like an enabler of a drunk. But I want to make a quote. I want to say a quote from Adolf Hitler. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. Today, Christians, I stand at the head of this country. I pledge that I never will tie myself to parties who want to destroy Christianity. We want to fill our culture again with the Christian spirit. We want to burn out all the recent immoral developments in literature, in the theater, and in the press. In short, we want to burn out the poison of immorality, which has entered into our whole life and culture as a result of liberal excess during the past few years. The Speeches of Adolf Hitler, 1922 to 1939, Volume 1, London, Oxford University Press. So this is what pisses me off. I'm sorry, as a Christian I probably shouldn't say that. I mean, I have a cursing tongue, unfortunately. Glenn Beck, Breitbart, and the other... I'm going to say it because I can't think of any word. Propagandists for the right. They call their enemies fascists. They say fascism is a liberal disorder. Marxism is liberalism gone amok. Well, fascism is conservatives run amok. Although I will grant you Hitler was a strange case. But to compare your enemies to Hitler, to compare your enemies to the brown shirts, to the SS, you're creating an enemy absolute. I'm afraid. I'm afraid what would happen if these dominionists, these borderline fascists get into power. Many people are going to be put in prison. Many people are going to die. Many people will see the future administration, and I'm not saying it's going to happen in 2012. I'm just saying there's a great possibility that it might happen. And like I said, I'm sure that if a fascist state comes to America, that I will be arrested, that I will be tortured, possibly even killed. True martyrs, true Christians always speak up against injustice. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he's my hero of the faith. If Protestants had saints, he would be a saint. I mean, he had a cushy life in America, but then he decided he had to go back to Germany to speak out against Hitler and to join the Confessing Church, and he was killed about a month or two before Hitler fell. I mean, I'm a Christian. I follow my Lord. But I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if they come to power and if they would torture me, I would turn my back on him. And I pray to God that will never happen. So I ask you, am I a terrorist? Am I a Marxist rebel? Am I a fascist? But the more important thing is, do they think that about you? God bless.